What's going on YouTube? Mixture Man here. So right now I'm gonna be saying my top 10 movies of 2021. Now I know this is a late video. It's freaking the beginning. It's like the start of February. But like for frick's sake, I should have made this movie. This video, the first or second week of January. But I had at least I think I had two, maybe three more movies that I wanted to watch for my 2021 movies that could have potentially um, made my top 10 movies. But I will say those movies that I didn't that I did watch did not, but they were still really good movies, and I'm glad I actually just decided to watch them instead of wondering could they have made my top 10 list. They didn't, but I'm glad I still watched them. One of them actually I had consideration putting in my honorable mentions list. Now I did see a lot of movies this year. I saw close to 40 this year. I mean, here's the list actually of all the movies that I saw. Um, what's it called? I'm gonna leave it here for a few seconds just so you guys can see like all the movies that I saw and what movies. But I'm not gonna on the list is not my that's not in um, the order of top 10, of course. That's just chronologically of what I saw in the beginning of 2021 towards the end of 2021 essentially. Um, but hopefully you guys looked at it long enough, so I took it off just now. And to start out, before I go to number 10, I want to tell you three honorable mention movies that I want to mention that just could not break my top 10. No, this is not like 13, 12, 11. This is just like three movies that I were considering putting in number 10, but I went with what I went with number 10. That's what I decided to go with. First one I'll tell you is Free Guy, the one with Ryan Reynolds in it, and I enjoyed that movie a lot. It felt like one of those movies like how Wreck-It Ralph is, um, the Emoji Movie, I guess you could say if you want to say that. Those type of movies that are like that takes place in another universe, and they're breaking the fourth wall essentially. In a way, that's what Ryan Reynolds' character Guy is doing, breaking the fourth wall, and just a lot of the moments, just he is like very similar to Deadpool, and and it was cool seeing the Easter eggs in the movie. It was cool seeing the special effects, like seeing Ryan Reynolds' character Guy whip out the Captain America shield. It was cool seeing him have the Hulk hand ripping out the Star Wars lightsaber, and the Star Wars theme song playing. It was just cool. It was just a fun, enjoyable movie that you want to see with the whole family, I guess you could say, because it's not inappropriate and it's not inappropriate. It's just funny and it has its moments. Um, Taika Waititi was a great character in the movie. Who directed it? I just gotta make sure. Sean Levi. He did a great job directing this movie, in my opinion, and I hope we see a sequel to it. I'm sure we will, and I hope we do. Um, Anyways, that was the first honorable mention. The second honorable mention is Eternals. Even though I said in my review um, that the movie felt a little bit too long, in my opinion. I think I said that in my review. I can't remember. I put it like in my review is basically in a 5 movie review video. Um, it was an enjoyable movie. Maybe felt a little bit too long, but it was enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the characters in this Eternals cast return. So I'm looking forward to see Kit Harington's character Dane Whitman return. Um, I liked Cersei a lot, Jimmy Chan's. I also like Icarus. I hope we see him return. I'm sure we will, as well as Ajax, Salma Hayek's character. They're characters that I think that because I said this in my honest trailer reaction for Eternals. Eternals is the type of movie. It's got a lot of mixed reviews from the fans and moviegoers and stuff. I've noticed, and I feel like this is the type of movie that once we get a sequel and we start seeing the Eternals characters crossed over with other Marvel characters and stuff, we will appreciate this movie a lot more. As myself, like as I enjoyed it, and I think that once I see a sequel to Eternals and them crossing over with other Marvel characters, I think I'll like this movie a lot more. Like look at Thor: The Dark World, for example. A lot of people really dislike that movie, and then eventually through the years, people learn to enjoy it more and appreciate it more, especially from Endgame when one of them takes place basically in the events of Thor: The Dark World. All right, and the final movie that will be an honorable mention that just could not break my top 10 is Black Widow, another Marvel movie. Um, it was an enjoyable movie. I like Black Widow a lot. The only thing that I just disliked about the movie was the timing of the movie itself. Like, it the movie dropped way too late. Like, I'm not mad that it got delayed because of COVID. That I'm not mad at. Even if it released on the exact release date that it was originally going to release, I would be thinking the same way. If this movie came out like literally after Captain America: Civil War was made, I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more because it just felt like a pointless movie almost because like she's dead. Her character is dead. It's like what was the point of making this movie? Honestly, I like it a lot and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm gonna be rewatching it a lot more times, especially since Yelena is essentially the new Black Widow. It was cool seeing her in Hawkeye and all, and it was cool seeing Alexei. I hope we see his character again in future Marvel projects, as well as Secretary Ross. It was cool seeing his character getting involved in hunting down Black Widow. And it was cool to seeing Val characters in that end credit scene. So and I'm sure we're going to be seeing her more. And I like saying this, that Val is basically the Nick Fury for the bad guys. All right, now I'm in my top 10 movies. Before I tell you my number 10, these are movies that are based on how much I enjoyed them, not how much of like if for some reason I have a movie that's number 3, but at number 4 I gave a higher rating. That don't look at that like that, because I'm giving these movies based on how much I enjoy them, not of what I rated them. Because like if number 5 I gave the rating an 8 out of 10, and if at number 6 I gave a 8.5 out of 10. Don't think that well, you gave that movie rating a high, or just no. Like I said, these movies that are in my top 10 list are based on how much I enjoy them, and will be rewatching them over the years of my life. So to start at number 10. Oh, and one more thing before I continue. This is my list, so please be respectful, and to each his own. And if you don't like this list, then that's your problem, obviously. So at number 10, Halloween Kills is at number 10. Halloween Kills was an enjoyable movie. I like Halloween a lot. Michael Myers is one of my most favorite killers in the horror in any sort of horror genre, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next Halloween movie, Halloween Ends, which I believe will be coming out this year. I think they started filming on Halloween Ends actually right now, and the movie was really enjoyable. It maybe too much killing. The only thing that I think I disliked about the movie was like the idiocy in the movie. Like, these people are like getting killed so easily when they should be shooting Michael in the head, and yet they're just beating the shit out of him. And then right when he came back to life and went on a killing spree at the end in the third act of the film, I was like, y'all had that coming. It's like, and what I liked about it is that it had a lot of original characters coming back. Besides Laurie Strode, you had characters like from the original movies, like the boy that Laurie Strode's character babysat in the very first Halloween movie. You also had those characters that bullied him, and the character that you see in the beginning. That and you even see like the doctor that was trying, I forgot his name, that was trying to the doctor that was looking for him in the very first Halloween movie back in the 80s. And that's what I liked, that you saw his character kind of return in the beginning of the movie, and you see how they get him in the beginning of the movie, because in the beginning of the previous movie that came out a few years ago, he was just at a mental hospital. I'm thinking to myself, okay, how did you catch him? I'm curious how you guys how you caught him. And I like that. That's what I liked about this movie, is that they showed how they caught him. So number 10, Halloween Kills. All right, number 9, I put The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It at number 9. And the Conjuring franchise, Annabelle, The Conjuring, I forgot the name of that movie, The Nun. I'm a huge fan of those types of movies and the franchise and the Conjuring cinematic universe. I think is what it's called. And I think and hope we will be getting another Conjuring movie. I'm sure we will. I don't know what. I think they're making another Annabelle movie. I believe they're also making a Crooked Man movie as well for the Conjuring universe. I don't know what the next Conjuring universe film could be. I don't know when or if they will be making one. I'm sure they will. It's a good franchise. They always make solid money in their movies and in the box office. Like, I think The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It did pretty well in the box office, considering it went to theaters and on HBO Max for people that were not comfortable going to the movie theater. I did see it on HBO Max, but I'm being honest, I did not go see it at the theaters, and it was fine that I watched it in my streaming service in my room. It's not a big deal. If I saw it in the theaters, it would have been cool, but It was scary, it was fun, it was enjoyable, and I'm hoping we see more Conjuring movies in the future, whether it's a Conjuring sequel or just more Conjuring universe films. And I hope, and I'm sure, and I hope we see more of Lorraine and Ed Warren in future projects of the Conjuring universe. All right, number 8 is Space Jam: A New Legacy. I grew up with the original Space Jam with Michael Jordan, and I really enjoyed this one. And I liked how they used LeBron James as the Michael Jordan for this movie. LeBron James was one of my most favorite athletes growing up, and still is to this day. I'm a Miami Heat fan, in case you didn't know, and when he was on the Heat, it was just always great seeing him play, and it still is to this day seeing him play. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. And he was good in terms of acting. He's not an actor, but it was fine. It was cool seeing him in this movie. But and I part of me wished that instead of having who the people that played his son in the movie, I wish we had his actual sons in real life, Bronny, in this movie, not these other actors. Don Cheadle was cool, and it was fun seeing him. And I also really liked how, besides obviously seeing Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, it was cool seeing like them go to the DC universe, seeing Superman, Batman, all those characters. It was also cool seeing them go into the Harry Potter franchise and all that. That's what I liked about this movie, is that all the Easter eggs you saw and familiar faces from past Warner Brother projects like King Kong, Iron Giant, and all that. And well, another thing that I just disliked about this movie was it wasn't an actual basketball game like on the first one. I mean, yeah, I guess they wanted to make it different. Instead of just making an ordinary basketball game, they just wanted. But I think it would have been just better if they made it an actual basketball game. And I wish we saw an appearance by Michael Jordan. It was funny that when they said, "I bring to you Michael Jordan," it was Michael B. Jordan. That was funny. It was also cool seeing Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, Damian Lillard, and Klay Thompson, and Sue Bird. I'm not a WNBA fan, but seeing her was cool because she's one of the great. She's a great athlete as well. So yeah, number 8 is Space Jam: A New Legacy. Alright, number 7 is ShangChi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now this movie, I didn't know what to expect. Even with the marketing of this movie, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either, the marketing for this movie. What really wanted me to go see this movie is the fact that it had a Marvel Studios logo on it. If it wasn't a Marvel Studios logo, I most likely would have not gone and seen this movie. If I'm being honest. It was cool seeing Wong and Abomination in this movie. That's what kind of made me want to see it a little bit more. Was seeing those two familiar characters in this movie. It was disappointing that they weren't in it that much, but it is what it is. It's not about them. It's about Shang-Chi. And I think Simu Liu, I hope I said that name correctly. I don't want to be disrespectful. He did a great job. He was the perfect Shang-Chi. It was also cool that how the end of the movie, the end credit or the mid credit scene, I think it was, you see Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers. That was cool. That was what made this movie awesome as well. It was also cool seeing Trevor Slattery character from Iron Man 3 who pretended to be the Mandarin, and then the real Mandarin is the one that's holding him, I guess, hostage, I guess you could say, or holding him as prisoner. Razor Fist was really cool, and I hope we see him again. Awkwafina as Katie was really great in this movie, and the guy that played the Mandarin, I thought he did a tremendous job. And I'm looking forward to seeing more Shang-Chi, hoping to see him in the next Avengers movie, and I think they already announced the sequel to Shang-Chi, which I am definitely going to go see. The special effects was amazing, the movie was amazing. Looking forward to seeing more Shang-Chi, the sequel, and him crossing over with future Marvel characters. I do want to see him train Spider-Man, because I remember there's a comic that when Spider-Man loses his spider sense, Shang-Chi teaches him how to teach him ways of the karate. I forgot what it's called exactly. He teaches him ways so that he doesn't need to have his spider sense, and it was cool, and I like that. I hope we see that in MCU. That would be really awesome, and I would love to see that. And I even think Simu Liu said he would love to do that in a future Marvel project. So like I said, number 7 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, number 6 is Army of the Thieves. This movie is actually a prequel to the Army of the Dead film, I think is what it's called, by Zack Snyder. And I really enjoyed Army of the Dead, actually. But that movie did not break my top 10. This movie actually broke my top 10 because it's a heist film. I'm starting to enjoy heist films a lot more every time I see them. The guy that played Ludwig, I think is his name. I think he did an awesome job. What I really liked about the movie is that each heist was when he was like cracking each safe. Is that you see the inside of the safe and you see like each one getting unlocked, and that's what I really liked about this movie. In each heist, is that you saw stuff like that. The girl that played Gwen, she was awesome. Ruby Ophie, Corina, oh man, she became, she honestly became a new celebrity crush of mine after that movie, and she was awesome in this movie as well. She was cool, she was funny, and Ludwig, I hope we see his character again, because I think if I remember correctly, he survives at the end of Army of the Dead, and I hope we see his character a lot more, because it was cool seeing his character background in this movie, Army of the Thieves, and then seeing why he is who he is in Army of the Thieves, and how and that the final safe that they were trying to find in this movie is in Army of the Dead. That's that final safe. I didn't know that actually at the time, and then when I learned that in this movie, I was like, oh, that's awesome. So yeah, number 6 is Army of the Thieves. Number 5 is Sing 2. I thought this movie was really, really good. I thought it was gonna be just enjoyable and funny and all that, just like how Despicable Me sequel was. But no, this movie like blew my expectations away. And I think in my review, if I remember correctly, I said, excuse me, that I think it's just as good as the first one, but maybe a tiny bit better than the first one is. But after watching it a second time not too long ago, I gotta say, I think the sequel is just a little bit better now. It's so fun. It's just enjoyable. It's cute, I guess you could say. It's a great kids movie. It's also fun to watch as an adult, watching the singing. And I always love and I just love the third act of the film when Bono's character, Clay Calloway, came in and started singing with Scarlett Johansson's character Ash. Because it's just crazy when you see characters, these voice actors like Reese Witherspoon, Scarlett Johansson, who else? Shoot, Tori Kelly. She's I know she's a singer. Taron Egerton. I forgot who voiced the pig. Oh man, I can't see him in the. Oh, there it is, Nick Kroll. When you see those actors, like they can sing. Actually, it just tells you how talented these actors are, and I really think, and I hope that if and when we get a Sing 3, that Buster Moon's character, voiced by Matthew McConaughey, I hope he sings in the third one. In a way, yeah, I remember he sang in the first one, but it was so short. It was like it didn't even really count. I mean, I want to see him sing in an entire crowd. Even Matthew McConaughey said it himself that he hopes that's what happens if they make a Sing 3. And like I said, it was an enjoyable movie. It was fun. It was amazing. Great and a great story, I guess you could say, and just really fun. And I'm sure and hope they make a Sing 3. Excuse me. All right. Number 4 is Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Now, Venom: Let There Be Carnage was another movie of mine that I really enjoyed. I really liked the first one back when I saw it a few years ago in theaters, and it was cool seeing that movie did extremely well in the box office. And I was glad that when the sequel was announced, that I was happy it was happening. And when it got delayed so many times, I was like, God damn it! But COVID didn't help. And I'm glad that this movie did really well in the box office again, because wow, this movie was really, really good as well. It was fun. I liked seeing that we saw Venom a lot more compared to what we saw in the first one. And I need a drink. I think Woody Harrelson did a great job as Cletus Cassidy / Carnage. It was cool. The CGI was freaking top tier, amazing. I mean, that's what happens when you get a director like Andy Serkis when directing this type of movie. That dude knows how to do CGI. And I just thought the final battle between Venom and Carnage was cool. Thought it was cool that in the movie, because when I saw it in theaters actually, that when Carnage yells "Let there be carnage," my entire theater literally shook, because that's how much how crazy that scene is. Seeing the woman that had the that was able to scream loud, she was cool. I hope we see her character again in future projects, but I don't think we will. It seemed like I think after rewatching it a second time, when the bell falls on her, I think that's when she actually dies. The guy that played the cop, Mulligan, I think is his name. He gets, I guess you could say, power. And I think he's going to be playing a symbiote in the third one, because I'm sure they're making a third one. If not, I think they already announced a third one in development. Yeah, they did, because I remember now Andy Serkis says in the third one that Venom will be exploring the multiverse and will be encountering Spider-Man. Now, question is, which Spider-Man will that be? Will it be Tom Holland's? Will it be Andrew Garfield's? I doubt it's going to be Tobey Maguire's, but it could be either Andrew Maguire and or Tom Holland, because even though at the end of the movie, which I thought was awesome, that he got transported to the MCU universe, which kind of made me upset that he left in the end of No Way Home. But at least a piece of Venom was left in the end of the movie. Oh, my voice is getting a little dry. Sorry, need some water, and I don't have one near me. Another movie I really enjoyed. Looking forward to the third one. Hoping I want him to encounter, honestly, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, if I'm being quite honest. But after thinking about it a little bit more, I think it would be better if he encounters Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, whether that's in the third one and or the Amazing Spider-Man 3, if they were to make it the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Hashtag make the Amazing Spider-Man 3. And Tom Hardy is perfect as Eddie Brock / Venom, and I'm looking forward to seeing his character a lot more in the future Venom movie and possibly in another Spider-Man project. So yeah, number 4, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, number 3 this is my top 3 list. It took me quite a while to determine which I wanted at number 3. And at number 3, when we not on 3, it took me a while to figure out number 1 and 2. I'll explain after I say what my number 3 is. Number 3 is Godzilla vs. Kong. Excuse me. Godzilla vs. Kong was one of the most hyped movies of 2021, especially in the beginning. Seeing Godzilla and Kong finally getting and fighting each other, I think for the first time since like the original Godzilla vs. Kong years ago. Seeing them in today's day and age of CGI and practical effects was just top-notch amazing. This movie was amazing. Seeing them actually fight a bunch of times, seeing an actual winner in this movie was great. A movie, and the freaking CGI was another top tier amazing. Like, probably it getting delayed a bunch of times. This movie was a blessing in disguise, because I feel like with it being delayed more, it got a chance for the behind the scenes crew to work on it better. It was cool seeing Millie Bobby Brown's character return. It was also seeing Kyla Traner's character return in this one, and I hope we see them again in future MonsterVerse projects. I think they announced a sequel to King Kong already. I could be wrong. I do know that they announced a MonsterVerse series, which is kind of sucks in my opinion. It takes place after the events of Godzilla 2014 and not after the events of this movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. But it is what it is. I'm still going to check out the series. And I hope we see more MonsterVerse projects, especially involving Godzilla and Kong. I think we should get a Kong sequel, considering how they ended it with him being in Middle Earth, I think it was called, if I remember correctly. And I think we will, and I think we should learn more things about that environment he's living in now. And considering he's pretty much king of that world now, while Kong is king up above in the where the humans live. And I wasn't really team anything, if I'm being honest. Like, I mean, yeah, at first I was team Godzilla, and then I was team Kong. And when I went into the movie, I was like, you know what, screw this. I don't care who wins. I just want to enjoy this movie. And the fight scenes were incredible. I really liked how when Godzilla and Kong were actually fighting, they got interrupted very, very little bit by humans. Very, very little bit. And seeing Mechagodzilla was awesome as well. He was OP. Mechagodzilla was OP in this movie, but I didn't care, because seeing him was freaking awesome. And when I read the rumor that he was going to appear in it, I was like, oh shit. And then seeing him in the movie itself was just awesome. And I'm glad I saw it in theaters and not on my freaking TV, because that was the type of movie you see in theaters, not on your freaking TV screen, in my opinion. Alright. So yeah, number 3, Godzilla vs. Kong. Alright, number 2. Before I continue, it took me actually quite a while to determine what I wanted at number 2 and at number 1 for these two movies. I'm not going to say I'm the split second right now, but it took me a while for these two movies to think about what I wanted at number 2 and what number 1, because these two movies, besides obviously being my 2 favorite movies of 2021, it was hard, because these movies were freaking spectacular. And like I said, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted in number 2 and in number 1. And you know what? You can argue that one's better than the other, but holy crap, these movies were just insanely good. And I hope that they continue making more movies with the same cast, with the same crew, and all that kind of stuff. So, number 2 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League, in my opinion, was one of those perfect comic book movies. I don't know how Warner Brothers looked at his original movie and thought, yeah, let's change it up a bit and have Joss Whedon freaking finish it and have the Justice League. Freaking Joss Whedon should be ashamed of himself of changing the way it was changed in this movie. Freaking cutting out a lot of scenes with Ray Fisher Cyborg. He was the highlight of the movie, and he's the one that made Zack Snyder's Justice League freaking better, in my opinion. And also seeing more scenes with Ezra Miller's Flash, seeing Darkseid, seeing the Martian fucking Manhunter. This movie you could argue that this is the best comic book movie of all time. To me, it's not. I mean, I like other comic book movies a little bit better, like especially the one I'm about to name at number 1. And you could argue that this movie is like better than Infinity War. It's better than Endgame. It's like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how Warner Brothers looked at this movie and thought, yeah, this movie is not good. We gotta change it up a bit. I mean, yeah, I know Zack Snyder's daughter sadly passed away, and he had to go mourn and stuff like that. Rest in peace. I forgot your daughter's name. I'm sorry. And rest in peace, which I understand. And when I saw Joss Whedon was coming in to finish the movie, I thought, okay, maybe it'll be a good choice. But after hearing the stories that Ray Fisher says, as well as Gal Gadot, and I even think Ben Affleck came forward and said some of the stories that they said, and Jason Momoa, I hope I said that correctly, he was a dick. And Joss Whedon should be ashamed of himself of what he did in the original cutting of Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League, like I said, is one of those just great comic book movies of all time. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Like, God almighty, I don't know how Warner Brothers is looking at this movie and thinking it does not have a future, because this movie is probably, I think it's one of the most talked about, and it was the most viewed movie of 2021. No Way Home, I think, would have topped it, but No Way Home came at the end of the year essentially, so it won't really count. But holy crap, this movie is just perfect in many ways, and I hope we see Zack Snyder return in future DC films. I think Dwayne Johnson's convincing Warner Brothers. I believe James Gunn is trying to convince them as well. And Zack Snyder himself said that never say never of a possible return to these DC movies. And not only that, Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman are just... how can you be getting rid of these characters? It's sad that how these characters are being treated. Like, Ben Affleck's Batman is my favorite Batman, and Henry Cavill's Superman is my favorite Superman. It's sad that Warner Brothers is really Warner Brothers is literally their own worst enemy. Not these fans. These fans want to see something and they're not giving it to them. When you got Marvel Studios that listens to their fans, and when they hear like, we want this, and they freaking do it. Kevin Feige, you need that's what Warner Brothers needs. It's a Kevin Feige for them, and they don't have that, sadly. But again, number 2 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Freaking amazing movie, and I'm gonna be watching it over and over again for the rest of my life. Now, number 1 is like I said, took me a while to think about what I wanted at number 1 and number 2. But number 1, you may even know it because I've already said it like probably 30 times in this video, is Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home was just a movie that made me cry all over again. It was a roller coaster of emotions. And before I even watched the movie, I thought to myself, this movie I think is going to be how Endgame was, just a roller coaster of emotions. And and just seeing, obviously, Tom Holland's Peter Parker / Spider-Man team up with Andrew Garfield's and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, it was just, my childhood came back to life. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was the very first superhero movie that I ever saw in my life. And his movie was the reason I really wanted to learn more about superheroes, other than Avengers, of course. After Avengers, that's when I really just wanted to get become a true nerd, I guess you could say. And just seeing familiar characters like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Jamie Foxx's Electro, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, just seeing them all return was amazing. And the multiverse happening, seeing in that third act of the film, just seeing the 3 Spider-Men team up, interact with each other, it was just the highlight of the movie. You can't deny that this is that this is the top movie of 2021. I've seen this movie 3 times in theaters, and I'm looking forward to getting it on Blu-ray because I'm freaking pre-ordering this once pre-order sales go on sale. And it was sad seeing that at the end of the movie that everybody forgot who Peter Parker was. It was sad seeing Aunt May pass away. That sucked, and it just was crazy. Is that Spider-Man has no one. Peter Parker, Tom Holland Spider-Man, Peter Parker has no one, and who stole the show really was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and I really hope we get the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Hashtag make the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Looking forward to seeing the next trilogy of Tom Holland Spider-Man. Again, it's going to be hard for them to top this movie, I feel like. Because honestly, if you think about it, it was now or never for a Spider-Verse film. And I hope we do see Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man again in future Marvel projects. They are rumored to be appearing in an Avengers Secret War film. So we might be seeing them again. You never know. And like I said, I hope we get the Amazing Spider-Man 3 for Andrew Garfield. And I'm looking forward to seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man a lot more in this movie. Or in future movies, and a lot more in other Marvel projects and stuff like that. And I hope we get the Venom symbiote, because after all, a piece of the Venom symbiote appeared at the end of, in the mid-credit scene at the end of No Way Home. And seeing Doctor Strange being Doctor Strange was awesome. Doctor Strange is becoming one of my most favorite Marvel characters. And I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Again, that was my top. So again, number 1 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 2 was Zack Snyder's Justice League. And number 3, Godzilla vs. Kong. 4, Venom Let There Be Carnage. 5, Sing 2. 6, Army of the Thieves. 7, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. 8, Space Jam: A New Legacy. 9, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And number 10, Halloween Kills. Honorable mentions were Black Widow, Eternals, and Free Guy. Again, this was probably the most movies I've ever seen in a year. I might be seeing more movies this year, actually, because I've already seen 4, and that's more than I already saw in the beginning of 2021. In 2021, I only saw like 2 by March. I've already seen 4 this year. I'm about to see a 5th and a 6th one sometime this month. So yeah, that was my top 10 list of top 10 movies of 2021. I'm sorry that this movie is long. If anyone watches this from beginning to end, I really appreciate you watching this. That's awesome. So, but anyways, that was my top 10 list. Here it is, in case you wanted to see it, in case you forgot or just wanted to get one more quick glance at it. Let me know if you watched this movie from beginning to end. I really appreciate that. Comment down if you actually watched it from beginning to end. Let me know. And if you have your top 10 movies of 2021, comment down below. I want to see your top 10 list. I want to see what your opinion was. I want to see what your top 10 list was. If you have a reason as why that's what it is, go for it. I want to read them. I like reading comments. And I respect your list. I don't care what it is. So please respect my list. If you don't like this list, that's your problem, obviously. To each his own at the end of the day. So yeah, again, that was my top 10 list of movies for 2021. Looking forward to seeing more movies for 2022. If y'all could please do me a favor, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and I would really appreciate that. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good one.